See, and you can see yourself there. It's so cool.
I know. It's yeah. So don't look at the camera.
You don't
Talk
have,
to you.
you don't have to.
No. So,
Well, Christine, thanks for taking part in this
it's
interview. One of the things I wanted to do was just to get people to have an idea about what the experience is like. So, just in your own words, can you sort of tell us why you joined the program and what you got out from it?
Yes. Well, I decided to join the program when I saw you, Kathy, your nurse.
Yeah.
And stood on the scales, and I was up to 76 kgs, which I realise is...
Is that the heaviest you've ever been? Or?
Yeah, no, maybe 78
Well,
has been the heaviest I've been. So I sort of just throwaway comment to Kathy that I was sick of this yo-yo weight, and I wish I could do something about it. And she said, well, have you heard of the keto program? So I said, the keto what? I hadn't really heard of it before. I'd heard of fasting, but I wasn't familiar with the keto program. So she told me a few basics about it, and I had to wait 6 months to get on the program, but she told me to cut out rice, pasta, potato, and and all fruit except for berries, food berries and yogurt. So I just basically did that for 6 months, and my weight came down to about 71 by Christmas, because I saw her in September. And then I got on the program in February, and after that I just noticed a dramatic loss.
And you also had Victoria's wedding to go to, right?
Yes, and I had Victoria's wedding, so that was that wasn't the reason for doing it, but I thought, well, that was a plus, because it would be nice to look slimmer for the wedding. Although that had consequences, because I had to spend a lot of money altering clothes to wear when we went overseas. So
it's almost one of those things that you don't mind spending money on, because it's like a good thing.
Yes, that's right. Yes. So it's been, and I noticed a big change in my health too, especially my alimentary tract, because I've had bowel surgery. I was going 4 or 5 times a day, which is really irritating, sometimes more. So now I'm down to just going twice a day, usually. Occasionally I get that when I want to go several times, but not very often. So that's had a positive impact for me too.
It's like an added bonus, isn't it?
And at about the time I saw Kathy, well, I was starting to get knee problems. And 2 months after seeing her in September, the knees were keeping me awake at night, so I ended up having 2 bilateral knee replacements. That was in the February. So I felt, well, look, it was really, that was in 2018, wasn't it? So I felt that was a reason for losing weight too, to reduce the load on the joints. I'd had the surgery by the time I went for my well woman's check, but I just thought, look, that would be really good, because I've had surgeries on my feet because of osteoarthritis, then the knees. I don't want the hips to go, so I just felt it was a really positive move to be able to reduce my weight and have less load on the joints. So I've certainly noticed an improvement.
Well, you mentioned something about the weight you're yoing in the past, so I guess my question is, how do you find the stickability of something like this compared to what you've done before?
Well, I've found it relatively easy, because I actually find when I started the fasting, the first week it was suggested to go without breakfast, and I said, but breakfast is my favourite meal of the day. I love it. And I was a bit sort of non-committal about it, but I thought, no, I'll try it out. But within 48 hours, it was easy. And I just got into that routine, and then again, because maybe it's to do with my alimentary tract, I often used to feel full and uncomfortable during the day sometimes, and then I'd sometimes feel drowsy in the afternoon. I usually made myself keep going all day, but if I sat down to relax or something, I'd often drop off to sleep for half an hour or something. So
did that change?
I
once
feel more
you,
energized now, so that's another positive for me too.
Well, you say that, were you surprised that it only took a couple of days to get used to it?
Yes, I was. Well, I
Yeah.
know you told me that I'd adjust to it quite quickly. But one key thing you have to do is to drink a lot of water.
Yeah, otherwise you might get
because
constipated.
otherwise you start feeling perhaps a bit hungry or a bit light. I've sometimes felt a bit lightheaded, and I think, I need to drink more water.
Yeah.
So I drink lots of water. So now I can go to the gym, have a workout. It's not brilliant at the moment, but because of the other issue with the heart thing. But I find I can go to the gym, and then I go home, walk the dog for an hour. So I've got the energy to do that, and even though I'm fasting, and then they said 2 weeks later, I think it was a week later, to go without lunch as well, and I thought, I don't know whether I can do that. This is just getting too drastic. And but I tried it, and the same thing happened, and I actually felt better. Now, the other concern was I'd almost got down to my goal weight before I went away overseas for a month for the wedding, and then to go to Yorkshire to visit my other daughter. And I was concerned that that'd be an issue with the food, and certainly we were staying in a 5-star hotel in Spain, beautiful meals and everything. So I just thought, no, look, I'm on holiday, I'm going to just relax and be mindful of choosing the right food groups, but just to enjoy myself. So because there were free breakfasts in the hotel, I decided to have breakfast, but I went without lunch.
Yeah.
And then I had a meal in the evening. And then when we got to the UK, well, I thought, well, while I'm staying with Victoria and Ryan, my daughter and her partner, I could go without breakfast, because we were doing a lot of sightseeing, but then I had lunch, and being in Yorkshire, they eat lots of food. I was amazed at how much, there's scones, they have these beautiful cafes in the Dales. So I did indulge while we were there, but it was only for 2 weeks.
And I think we were quite surprised, isn't it?
So I only put on 1.5 kg.
Which was, I was surprised.
Yeah, so I was
yeah.
not looking forward to coming back and standing on the scales. I thought, maybe I've gone up to about 67 or 68. And then I was 66.5. My goal weight was supposed to be 54.8. But that was on the Monday I stood on the scales. On the Friday I came to see the diet coach
Ross,
Ross, and I had got down to 64.8, something like that.
I think we were all quite surprised that you didn't put on that much weight, but I think it's because
honestly I was eating. I had desserts. We were taken out. Victoria and Ryan loved their food, and they were taking us out to these pubs, different restaurants. We were having these lovely lunches and cafes at farms and that sort of thing.
I guess the point is that you don't actually have to be overly restrictive, because your metabolism is preserved.
Yes.
And it's almost as if it's a thermostat when it comes to your weight, isn't it?
That's
because
right.
you've coached your body to a lower weight.
Yes.
Your body kind of wants to stay there, so even when you eat more, your body just tries to burn it off as well.
That's right.
So, but that was actually a really good result. I mean, we were like, wow, that's actually pretty good.
That's amazing. But
so now that you're in it.
But if I'd been overseas for another month continuing like that, I probably would have gone up to 67 or 68. But it's interesting to know you can come back. But I basically feel better in myself generally. I sometimes find the food, I haven't got my head around all the, cooking interesting keto food, because I've got a husband who's not doing it.
Yeah.
So the meals tend to get a bit mundane, but he likes plain food anyway, so that's okay. So I really would like to spend time cooking more interesting things.
Yeah.
When I have people for dinner, we just have, I've got a friend coming for lunch today, So I'm just having an ordinary lunch today.
And I guess that's my point. That's
yes,
fine, isn't it?
You can
because
fit it into your lifestyle and what you do. And my advice to people is not to tell too many people about it, because you get a lot of odd comments, some quite negative, and they think you're really sort of going off on a tangent.
Did you get any positive comments at all?
Yes, I did. From the family. They say, look, you're looking good. I mean, one friend used to tell me each time I saw her, look, you're looking gaunt in the face, and a bit, I can't remember the other words, but, and she's overweight herself, so that might have been why she made those comments, because she didn't like me.
Because sometimes I think there's a little bit of jealousy as well.
Yes, I know. Well, I don't know. That was just one particular friend, but most people have been very positive. I mean, look, I'm 71 now, and because I was a larger size for my body weight, for what I should have been,
Because, I mean, when was the last time you were probably this size?
I was plump, and then to suddenly my face changed as well. I feel I look a bit hollow. To be honest, I feel as if I am a little bit older looking, but then I've been doing it now for 9 months.
And my view is, I think this is how you're supposed to look.
Yes.
I think so many people have gotten used to being a little bit overweight. They think that that's normal.
Yes.
And I think this is a society thing. People get so used to it.
I mean, my
that's
cheeks feel as if they're hollow looking, and
Yeah.
I look a bit wild looking when I'm in the gym, and my upper arms got a bit crepey, which it wasn't before.
Yeah.
But I guess I can just work on weights and that at the gym for that.
Because the next thing I thought would help you was to increase the muscle bulk a little bit.
That's
so that's something that you're sort of looking into
I'd really
as well.
like to do that. Yes. So, but no, generally it's been positive. I mean, I am getting a bit sick of. I usually have zilch, yogurt, and berries of some sort.
So one of the problems potentially is variety, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's just trying to find that. But then if you, when we go out for dinner, because we're not eating out a terrific lot, I just eat, and I'll have a dessert, or I'll...
And it's no big deal.
Yes, no.
Because I mean,
because then I'll just go back to the fasting in the days between. In fact, yesterday I had lunch too. I had a lunch, and unfortunately it was at a club for older people, a country club, and of course there were fish and chips on the menu, and a lot of the other things had sauces and things on them, so I had the fish and chips.
Well, I
had a salad, and I had a little piece of ginger slice in the morning when we were having morning tea with this friend.
Well, I think one of the things we noticed was after because initially we saw you more intensively every week, and then now we're catching up with you monthly, but what we've noticed is actually there hasn't really been much weight gain. You sort of stay at a pretty good weight,
65,
which is actually pretty good.
Yes.
And I guess it's a point I was trying to make to a lot of people that this is something that's actually relatively easy to stick to. It's quite natural in a lot of ways, and even if you have some variety where you suddenly eat a bit more carbohydrates and you're a bit more relaxed, your weight kind of stays about the same.
Yes, it does. Yes, so yes, it's perfectly doable. That's what I'd say to other people.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was going to ask you. I mean, some people say to me, "Oh, do you need to be like a special kind of person to be able to do something like this?"
No. Because I have done Weight Watchers before.
Oh yeah.
And look, to be honest, I used to come home sometimes. This wasn't necessarily when I was on the Weight Watchers program, but when I had more weight on my body, and I'd often snack in the afternoon. I'd feel hungry at about 4 or 5, and that's not a nice feeling to have, because you're feeling you want to eat more, and then
you feel like
think,
undernourished.
Oh, that feels good, yes. And then you'll have something else before dinner. And I had quite a sweet tooth as well. And so the other positive thing for me, I've had a lot of dental problems, heavily filled teeth, and I don't want to end up having dentures.
Yeah.
So cutting out the sugar has been really good. So
is the appetite thing a problem on this program? Like, do you feel like really hungry at times?
I feel satisfied.
Oh, cool.
I feel satisfied with that meal.
Yeah.
Occasionally I might feel slightly peckish in the morning, and occasionally I've had the odd slip up and I might have a bit of biscotti with coffee or something.
But it's not a big deal.
Very often.
Because one of the things we do is...
often, if I was having coffee with friends in a cafe, which I love to do too, I would often, I tended not to have muffins. I was trying to be careful of my weight, but when I look back, I realise there was too much, I think this program, I think this fasting, it is good for your body. I mean, because I'm feeling positive results from it, I feel that's why I want to stay on it, and I do not want to be overweight becoming elderly, because
it's not a good
just
look.
end up having so many issues.
Well, one of the things we make sure is that people don't measure or count calories and all that, because that's so unnatural, isn't it?
No, that's right.
Yeah.
So I don't have to do that. And I'm not even, I have bought a set of scales and I will stand on them occasionally, but I try not to do that a lot. I've just out of interest, once or twice I've stood on them at different times of the day to just see. Your weight does fluctuate. I mean, you can be down at 62.8 or something and then go up to 64 later in the day.
Exactly. Drink 2 glasses of water.
Yes, that's right. So, yes, and drinking lots. I think that's the key, to really drink a lot of water. And a lot of people as they age drink less water, and I think it's so bad for you to get into that habit. I mean, my husband doesn't drink a lot, and that's why he keeps feeling faint all the time.
I'll have a word with him.
Yes.
I'll talk to Bruce.
Tell him I've mentioned him on it. Yes. Yes.
Well, I think, thank you so much for your time, because I think people will really find this valuable hearing from your perspective. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that you don't have to be a certain special personality or to have unusually good willpower or to be unusually disciplined.
I mean, I'm like everyone. I'll have a piece of chocolate, and sometimes I've been known to have several pieces. Or
fair enough.
When I'm on holiday, get one of those giant chocolate fish. I'll suddenly feel like a sugar fix. That's like the things I used to do. But I'd try and be careful in what I thought was being careful in between. But the benefits of the keto program is just not, you feel really good in your body.
Yeah.
Yes, so.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, it's a pleasure.
Well, I better make sure I sort out your loquoid.